No holding back, no stepping stones, no broken promises, no busy tones. Just what it takes, just make believe. No one belongs to anything.
Good morning, everybody. From Kerrville, Texas. This is the Lead Live. Leslie Jones has had her first snort of the day. How do you feel about that, Leslie?
I feel a lot better. Your NPR voice, since you got your vocal warm-ups in, are a lot better.
You do, right?
Yeah.
Yes. 68 degrees, headed to a high of 87 today here in Kerr County. All right, enough of this, but yes, let's get right to it. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Lead Live. People are here. There's like a trio of
Not everybody, just some people.
Just gang members are here.
Pine Plow's closed.
Pine
Don't
Plow
come
is
here for
closed.
coffee.
Right. There's Kyla. She's here. We'll add her. See what happens. Good morning, Kyla. She'll get it out. She'll figure it out. All right. Today's show is we're a week away from one of Leslie Jones' favorite topics of discussion: the 2024 total solar eclipse worldwide.
Yep.
Panic ensuing. Follow me.
It's not going to be panic ensuing.
No.
It's going to be just a cool day.
But
We're going to get through it.
A lot of people are like, God, I survived Easter Fest. So.
Yeah, it ain't nothing. Easter Fest was light work compared to what's coming.
Right. It just shows you, though, that in a hurry, parking lots can be filled up
That's right.
like that.
Yep.
Believe it or not, we are through the first quarter of the year. And, there's Kyla. She's very springy looking this morning. Good morning, Kyla.
Morning. Morning, y'all.
I gotta fix Kyla's name line. I spelled her name wrong because I'm an idiot. So we're gonna fix that. But what a weekend, though. There was tons of events going on. There was rampaging children across Kerr County. I went out to, I don't know if you knew this, Leslie. I went to, where did I go? Where was I at the other day?
You went everywhere.
I was over at the, what's that thing called? What's that place?
You went to Easter Fest.
Yeah,
Don't
forget about that.
You went to Arcadia.
Oh, I went to the Salvation Army, the Kroc Center.
Yeah, you went to their egg extravaganza.
So they have that lower pit they have down there. You know that flood retention thing.
Potential parking.
Yes. Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
No, they are. They're potentially going to use those parking on April 8th.
Very nice. Well, they put out thousands.
Potentially. Don't call them yet.
Yeah, don't call them it. Thousands of eggs. Right. They had 27,000 eggs, and they put in these eggs out in these rows for age group. You know, and so they had like egg hunts throughout the day. So if you came at 10:30, you would get the first egg hunt, and they have another egg hunt right after that. So I'm guessing they had about 4,000 or 5,000 eggs.
It's a lot of eggs.
Yeah. Let's just say that swarming horde of locusts, a.k.a. children, toddler through 8 or 10, pick that thing clean.
Yeah.
Clean that
vultures.
Clean that yard up in less than 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It was incredible. And then Easter Fest is a little bit more compact, and it was chaos. I mean, it was like kids like running into each other. It was like the running of the bulls in Pamplona. Except they should have had the Easter Bunny like chasing them around. That'd be even better.
That would have been like I survived Easter Fest 2024.
Yeah. I saw Arlo, Stacy Laparati Schiltz's son. He was wandering about unattended, and I said, "Hey, man, what's going on? You all right?" Because I'm just looking for all the eggs. He was very direct.
I've got work to do. I'm clocked in.
Where's your mom and your dad? And then finally we got him connected with his mom. He didn't really care, quite frankly. I was more worried about him than he was about himself.
Yeah.
So, 4-year-olds. Or he's 5 maybe now. I don't remember how old he is. All right, Kyla, South Star Bank. Kyla, what's going on with you? How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. How are y'all? How was everyone's Easter?
Well, mine was
busy.
Mine was busy. What did I do? I ate some. I had some Cadbury eggs. Not the gooey ones.
There's ungooey ones.
There's like the ones that have the candy shell. They're really delicious. I had some of those.
Wasn't aware.
There's an empty bag in my car. So.
Oh.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So I added to my A1C a little bit there. I'm trying to go for the perfect score on diabetes.
Good for you.
Let's see. I love Easter candy though, and even Peeps. People are like, "Oh, Peeps are gross. Peeps belong in the
You like
trash."
sugar.
I like sugar.
Like mainlining it.
A peep in coffee would be terrific.
Oh my God.
So good.
You and Julie are
Well, you know what, Julio?
great. Y'all are just built different.
Poor Kyla's like, well, I don't want to hear this, but here's what happened on Friday. I bought Peeps for Julie. And then
Julie loves Peeps.
but she eats them daintily.
Yeah, she's a lady.
I just shoved them in my mouth. And
Well, that speaks for itself.
right. And then Marcus Goodyear did the same thing Friday.
That tracks.
All right, Kyla. We saw you at Easter Fest with your son, who was delightful. You were waiting in line for some kind of cocktail or something, or you were already drinking at that point in the morning already. So what were you doing?
Did you just put her on blast?
I was at Mac and Wagon because they also had those energy drinks. I don't remember exactly what they were called,
Yeah.
but those, and my son loves macaroni and brisket, so
He likes
we have
brisket.
that combination.
Mac and
there.
Wagon makes some mean brisket macaroni and cheese.
Where did those people
it's
go? By
delicious.
the
They're
way?
right over
Oh,
here.
okay. All right.
Yeah, they're okay.
They need to be attended to.
I got eyes on them.
Okay. All right. So did you have any success, like getting people to open checking accounts or were you not working on Saturday?
I was strictly there for leisure. I had some
Good for
friends
you.
that were competing in the cook-off. My husband was out of town that weekend, so it was just little boy and I. We got to go do all the things this weekend.
I saw a lot of people
it
there,
was
though, I
off the
know.
clock for sure.
Did
It's a
your son
community
like
event.
the critters? They had critters there. They had the capybara and the little kangaroo thing and some
That's
other
fun.
large rodent, some other rodent of unusual size, a llama. Or no, I'm sorry, an alpaca was there.
Mm-hmm.
There was also a porcupine,
That's cool.
which are delightfully looking animals.
They are.
Yeah. So you didn't go to that?
So yes, he loved that. Of course, we didn't go in because the line was outrageous. Like
Yeah.
you said, it was just pretty chaotic there,
Right.
but it was good. He got all the wiggles out. So,
Yeah.
but he has horses and cows and donkeys and chickens at the house anyway. So he was just
Oh,
Like-
so he's
Okay.
not easily
They're-
impressed.
They're in the house, or do you have those
Yeah.
in the house, or are they? You have real critters in the house? Are you a farm kid?
we do, yeah,
Wow.
we do. We've got 3 chicks right now that we're raising up: a rooster, a chicken, some donkeys.
You're
that
about
were
to have a
wedding
lot more
present.
chickens.
Yeah. Yeah. You got a rooster.
Yeah, you got a rooster. You're about to have more.
The
mean rooster,
donkeys
too.
are they there? Are they mean? Or are they? What's their story?
The rooster's mean. He'll get after you for sure.
Yeah.
The chicks are super cute. Grit loves them, of course. The horses, we've got some steers out there. The donkeys are super sweet. They're like kind of miniature, but they're really fat.
Yeah.
So they're not super miniature
Good.
anymore.
I love a
Right.
fat donkey.
Fat donkey.
Yeah.
You should call it.
2 dogs.
Make it your ranch. Fat Donkey Ranch.
I would just call it Fat
Oh,
Donk Ranch.
Fat Dunk. Right. Unbelievable. Good stuff.
Yeah. And just a quick reminder, we will be closed. Thank the heavens, we will be closed Monday
And
for all the festivities.
For all the
I'm sure will be
festivities.
going on in town.
all right, what's the best deal? What's the best deal at the bank right now? What do you got going on? What do we need to? How do we need to come in? And why do we need to come and see you? What's the biggest draw right now?
Honestly, it's been so a lot of our new customers that I've talked to that have come in, they come in because of our reviews online.
Mhm.
We have 5 stars across the board, and we're just like I had a lady in here Friday. She went to Randolph Brooks, was just like came over here, and she was like, the customer service is just top tier. Like everybody greets her. We have cookies all the time, coffee. We're always happy to help. We're just friendly. We kind
And
of
you have
keep that
Jeff
customer
Harris.
service and that small town banking feel
Right.
a priority. So, which is hard to come by these days.
You know what
a
you
lot
should
of the
do?
times you don't get a personal banker that you can depend on every day. You can call to and talk to directly anytime during the week. So,
I have a vision for.
that's something that we offer. that
I
not
have
all
a vision
places
for you,
do.
Kyla, of a new program. It's called Basic Training, Financial Basic Training, or Financial Boot Camp with Jeff Harris, and he just screams at you like he's like a drill sergeant the whole
love
time.
it.
Don't you love it?
Yeah, I'd sign up for that.
You're filling out that line wrong. Get it done. Redo.
Back in development.
That'd be so good. We should try to arrange for that. So, okay.
You know, he knows enough people. I bet we'd have a good turnout.
Oh, we would have a good turnout. We should try that. I'm all for that. I want to sponsor that. Okay.
Can you imagine Jeff
There we
Harris
go.
screaming at people how to use a checkbook?
Yeah. Would you sign up for that thing?
Yeah, it would either go one of two ways.
There does
Jeff
need to
Harris
be
and I would
a
either
thought on
fist
that.
fight or I would start
Don't
crying.
have-
Either I don't know which way it would go depending on the day.
Right. Right. I'm sorry.
People just don't know how to use checks anymore either. It's insane.
Yeah, it's not as commonly done anymore.
No. It's something that, yeah.
The worst thing I was always at about my checkbook is I never put it in the register.
Yeah.
I just keep it up here.
Yeah. That's
It
always
doesn't always work.
That's
but-
my strategy too. That's called an idiotic strategy. That's called.
Yeah, well, I made it this far.
All right, we made
I
it
didn't say
this
it was
far.
successful.
Right. Oh my gosh. All right, Kyla. Good job. Thanks for putting up with us.
All right.
All right. Thanks.
Y'all
a lot.
have a good day.
You
Bye,
too.
Kyla.
Before we get to our one of our main guests this morning,
Yeah.
we've got I got a couple things I got to just cover real quick.
Okay.
I sent out some information over the weekend about the election, and you know, let's just say this: there's an organization in town here called We the People, Liberty in Action.
Are they the
and
ones with the correct voters guide?
the correct voters?
I didn't know that was a thing.
The voters guide that is. Here's their mantra, right? We don't like people who say they're Republicans but vote like Democrats. But here's the positions on the things, right? I struggle with this all the time, right? I just find Texas amusing sometimes, right? The politics is just I mean, there's insane people everywhere, but here, at least in Kerr County, we've got some special ones that are extra special. So they complain about out of town interests coming into Kerrville.
And they're from out of town?
They're from out of town. They're from out of town.
It's like they're trying to close the door behind them?
They're trying to close the door. But let me see the exact wording of these things. Let me see here. Oh, this is funny. Someone just sent me a text about advertising.
No. Timely.
Yeah. Well, let me just say that it's the mother of one of the most fascinating children in Kerr County. This is the Wallace mother.
Oh, that is true.
Yeah, Wallace
should have his own show.
Wallace should
Honestly,
have his own
I'll
show.
vote for Wallace for president.
Oh my gosh, Wallace is incredible. Okay, here it is. Oh, here's what they were saying. Okay.
By the way, I did go to Central Provisions
Did you?
on Friday
Did
with your
you?
daughter.
Oh, did you?
She drug me out. She told me
Really?
she would drive. I was like, done.
She picked you up and drove you.
Yeah, because she's training them on their
Coffee.
espresso
Yeah,
maker.
right.
And so their new space, which is a little further down the street,
Yeah.
beautiful. It's still coming together, but it's beautiful.
I took her there on Friday afternoon.
And the back, she took me back later Friday
Right.
afternoon.
Right.
And then Justin was working on the stage because they have like this old, looks like a water
It was the main water tower
Yeah.
for Centerpoint.
that he's repurposed as a stage, or they have, and Justin was like literally in the dirt working on it.
Right.
But it's such a cool space. I'm very excited for them.
All right. Let me just tell you, and I'm excited for them too. And I went back there Saturday, and Brady Dieter and Daniel Robinson were playing. I only
Yes.
caught Brady Dieter, but and then Conrad Word showed up.
Yeah,
On the
it's
road.
just
It was
the cool. It's a
terrific.
cool little place.
It is very cool.
I'm very excited for
Very
them.
excited. I love the other location too, but I think this is better for them.
This gives them an outdoor component.
Exactly.
And I think that's what it needs. I don't know if you know the
didn't-
grams. It just makes sense.
Makes sense. I didn't realize
So-
though that there was like Zanzibar Tavern was across the way there.
Yeah,
next
it's
door.
just right there.
look
You
over
can
the-
see
you
at
look-
their
you can look at it. You can
vines
yell
that
at-
they're growing.
Yeah, you can yell at
You
them.
can literally yell at them.
Hey, bring me some food. All right. Here's what We the People folks are saying. Will prioritize citizens' needs over out-of-town developers' wants. Support sensible growth that benefits current and future residents. Okay.
I'd say that's already happening, but it's fine.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though, right? And and this is like, and then there's also this thing like, well, this wouldn't happen in a small town. Our small town way of life is this. But okay, listen. When you talk about in my experience, you talk about out of town developers and limiting development and growth. That's a Democrat. That's a Democratic idea. That's a Democrat Party idea. That's a liberal idea. That's straight up California, right there. I'm telling you, I find this contradiction spectacularly amazing. How could you be Republicans and not be pro-business and pro-growth? How could you be that way? And then this is the populist part of what we're seeing here, right? The other alarming thing that these guys said, they have like it's not a mailer because they probably can't afford it without West Texas oil money, but We the People is saying that Joe Herring and Brenda Hughes has a 100%, vote on raising taxes. And they're trying to connect Joe.
Just those two.
That
makes so much sense.
Yes, 100%, right? If you really look at the tax increases that have happened, the biggest one is for the public safety building, right? And here's the inconvenient truth for We the People, Liberty in Action. It was those people. Remember, there was another plan at one time that said, hey, we're going to build a public safety building, but we're going to do it with existing revenues, right? Which is sales tax and property taxes. It's not going to be, a $45 million facility. It'll be a $20 million facility. We're going to build it on existing city land. There was 3 choices for it. The municipal court building next to the Doyle Community Center, which, I didn't really particularly think was a good idea. And then they were going to buy the existing land around the corner there of what is that? North Street and Shriner and North and then Sidney Baker, right? So the city had that all sort of worked out. It was not ideal, right? But it was a plan that they had because I don't think I think that there was some worry among city staff about putting a bond out there. And let's not put a bond out there. Let's just pay for it through existing revenues, and we'll bond for that money, and we'll be fine, right? Well, guess what happened?
And at that time, we could do that.
Yeah. Well, guess what happened? Let Us Vote came along and said, we don't want to pay for that building. You're already $60 million in debt, which was a lie, because of that. So you can look at it the 2 ways, right? When you have a water department, you're never going to be free of debt for infrastructure. Just not going to ever happen. You're always going to be having to fix stuff, and everything is expensive to fix. So these people conflated, as usual, the ideas of not 1 but 2 UPS drivers this morning, dropping us up here at Pine and Plow. But you had not 1, but you had these issues that were hitting. They were saying, well, you got $60 million in debt, and we can't afford this. And people were like buying into it, and they got enough signatures to torpedo this initiative, right? Which really the taxpayers would never have felt because the way it was set up. Well, now you fast forward. So now the city's like, well, we got to get this built. This is ridiculous. All right, we'll put a bond committee together. And Barbara Jewel Ferguson was on that bond committee, and then she flip-flopped at the end of it. But guess who voted when they put the recommendation on this, right? To put the bond on the ballot. Guess who voted for it? Roman Garcia voted for it. It was a unanimous decision. So that unanimous decision helped, raise taxes for everybody who has a piece of property here in Kerrville to pay for this public safety building. So you cannot say, and here's the other part. That was in 2022. They're trying to say that it was in 2023. Like, this is how crazy they stretch the facts, right? They have it published that, it was in 2023. No, it wasn't. It was 2022. That's when the voters approved it, right? And it was a certain amount of money. And you see all these numbers that are cooked up, right? They are possibly one of the most dishonest organizations I've ever seen in my life. Joe Herring was not on the city council when that bond passed. He was running for election against their originally backed candidates, right? Which was Robin Monroe, Katie Chapman Hanna, or whatever her name is, and then Brent Bates. So to say that Joe Herring is 100% voting for tax increases is not accurate at all. To say that Roman Garcia didn't vote for any tax increase is also inaccurate. Now he walked back. He's always flip-flopping on stuff, on that kind of stuff. I mean, he's walking back on populist issues. So this publication that they sent out, they're trying to do the same thing they did with the county election. We're like, oh, look at our voters guide. We're totally accurate. We know what we're doing. these are approved. This is the correct. What is the language again? Let me see here. Let me see what this says here. Oh, it's the approved voter. Approved. Voter approved. Voter approved.
Oh. That has remained to be seen.
Approved. Voter approved. Approved.
We haven't voted yet.
Joe and Brenda. 100% vote record on raising taxes. Not true. Supported unsustainable growth that benefits out-of-town developers. Well, listen, here's the deal, folks. This is the thing that cracks me up again, okay? The out-of-town developer, Lennar, bought the property from Schreiner University. Adrian, hold your earmuffs. Don't listen to what I'm saying.
Don't drag Adrian into this.
No, sorry.
She didn't come here for this.
Right. Supported unsustainable growth that benefits out-of-town. Like, what is unsustainable about it? I don't really know what that means exactly. Did they get benefits? Sure they did. Right? Because they're the only one that's showing any interest in building here in the first place. And by the way,
people are moving here,
people are moving here and they want to move here and there's no place to live because you know what the median home price right now is? $434,000 a year.
Well, even your people that live here, that have lived here, can't afford to live here.
I love looking at these houses they send me the emails for, the different realtors. And it's like, wait a minute here. $350,000 for that? Are you kidding me?
Right.
You know, so Leslie, you'll never be able to buy a house.
Oh, I know. I don't. All you people, it's okay. You don't need to advocate for me to have one either. Yeah. I can't afford it.
Did not.
Y'all barely don't want me here as it is. You're clearly trying to price all of us that are working out. Yeah. So
did not protect our water resources or our small town values. Supported sexually explicit material in the children's section of the library. Not true. Prioritize out-of-town developers' wants over residents' needs. Again, these okay, false. So I put it out in this thing. They have 19 points, right, that they made about Joe and Brenda. 19. And every single one of them was either false, misleading, or like some kind of weird opinion couched as a fact. You know, like, oh, out of town wants, out of town needs and wants and things like that. A lot of the people from We the People are not native Texans. They're not from the Kurt. I know. There was at least 3 Californians there that were there talking. And then there's me. I'm a Californian, but I'm a reasonable one.
Tanya nailed it. And why people wonder why it's so hard to get people to run for city council.
Well, yeah, because you get attacked for you get falsely accused of stuff, right?
Right. You know, we have 2 people like Joe and Brenda that do a lot for this community. Like bend over backwards. Yeah. Brenda, I don't even know how Brenda sleeps.
I don't either.
Quite frankly. Yeah. But then to be painted as like just enemies of the state is ridiculous.
Well, and here's the thing though, right? They in their statement, right? In their statement, they said, and poor Adrian, we're gonna get to the important stuff here. It's gonna make everyone crazy. Let me see here. This is hilarious. I didn't catch this part earlier. They're not making a recommendation in place 3. Okay, that's the Brent Bates, Kent McKinney thing. They imply that the candidates do not seek our endorsement. However, our research indicates Kent McKinney aligns himself with the crushing debt and tax increases of Joe Herring and Brenda Hughes.
Oh, I had to make sure to get crushing debt in there.
Crushing debt. Crushing debt.
That was a good one.
I don't think Joe Herring or Brenda sought their endorsement, so that's a lie right there in the first place. Why would you want their endorsement, right? I mean, I guess you're maniacal. I guess you want their endorsement. Here's what they say though: we do not support candidates who campaign like Republicans but legislate like Democrats. Well, like I said, when you're advocating a zero growth, no development, anti-property rights, you are basically a rhino, in my opinion. You're a rhino, you know, because every Republican I've ever met was like, woo, let's build stuff, you know. It's like the American way, you know. I mean, Leslie, talk me off the ledge.
Well, Adrian's here.
Adrian's here. That's all that matters. Adrian's here. Adrian, okay, talk me
She
off the
has
ledge.
some opposite things to talk about.
Here's the thing about Adrian Wingard that I've discovered. She's a very calming person. She's very.
Well, she works in events, so
She does, and
You gotta.
she gives you a hug, and it's very warm. And then she'll tell you about Neil Young.
you kind of have to be like a walking anti-anxiety pill
I know.
when you work in events.
I know. There's people.
You
if
do. You got to
if
find an even kill.
If you know,
Exactly.
and she's got an incredible family. Her son had one of the more incredible stories. But we'll talk about that another time. But you're here for Shriner is going to be. Let me get this. So I sent out the email yesterday, right?
Yes, you said on 119 things, and I said 119 and counting.
Yeah, and that's what. Yesterday I saw Maya Walter, who does my events, and she was like, "There's more. I just forgot to put on like 3."
There's more probably being added this week, literally as we speak.
So 119 is our baseline, and Shriner plays a key role in a lot of this stuff.
I would agree.
So Adrian, what do you got going on this week?
So we are excited. Thank you for having me, by the way. We're excited to.
No, thank you for coming on because this is always a crapshoot for people.
I mean, he is just a local blogger.
Yeah.
This is wonderful. So Shriner is going to be hosting 5 days of events leading up to solar eclipse. We start this Thursday. We've got Jeff Stone is going to be speaking in the
Oh,
ballrooms.
he's always the best. Too.
That's a good one. Jeff does a great talk.
Yes, he's wonderful. We're so excited to have him. But then we're going to follow it up with wine tasting up at the Kerrville Hills Winery.
There we go.
Which is now the Hill. And so we're going to be able to showcase the Hill and everything we've got to offer up there and the winery. And we're very excited. And then a star party afterwards.
Lovely.
So Dr.
That's a
Arvidsson
great
will be there.
evening.
It's going to be super fun.
Nice.
We need to get him on the show this week
Yes, we
because
should.
he's hilarious.
He is.
I mean, he
He's-
really is. He is delightful.
He is. He's wonderful. So the next day, Friday, we've got Dr. Arvidsson will be speaking in the ballrooms at 4 o'clock. And then we go into the trailhead, all the festivities at the trailhead. We have live music. We have Carlos Dan and the Silver Bullets.
Yeah.
Games, all the Friday night fun. The trailhead is wonderful to be at. We've got actually live music all weekend long, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday
Nice.
at the trailhead. Then on Saturday, we have Dr. Alan Hale, who's going to be speaking about the comets, and he's half of Hale Bop, the gentleman that founded
Nice.
Very cool.
Hale Bop.
It's his fault.
It's his fault. So he's hoping to be up at our observatory, and he's going to be looking for a comet that will pass by the
Very
sun.
cool.
And the only time you can see it is during an eclipse.
I remember when Hale Bop, or was it Haley's Comet? I think it was Haley's Comet. Hale Bop was passed through here. What in the 2000s or 90s? I remember it vividly. Which one was? It was Haley's Comet that was in 1988. I
Yes.
remember that one. So, all right.
So then we also have student activities. We have a pool party for our students because we want to mix our community with our students' events, and so we're doing things for just our students to have them stay on campus so they can have fun on Monday and be able to get back to campus.
There we go.
And then we have a dance that night that's a glow dance for them. That's going to be a lot of fun, and
Fun.
it's sponsored by our fraternity on campus. So Chi Phi is going to be
Very cool.
sponsoring that and guest speakers throughout the day. Sunday is yoga.
To get you ready for Monday.
To get you ready for Monday. We also have Sunday brunch at the dining hall, which is Prime Rib Sunday. So that's gonna
very
be
good.
a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Get you some protein in for the big day.
Yeah.
Exactly. We have 3 guest speakers that day, and then we end the Sunday night with NASA's going to come and speak on the front lawn, and then we're going to have a flyby with our Shriner Aviation planes and TAC Aero. And then we're going to show a movie on the front lawn, free and open to the public.
Nice.
Apollo 13.
Apollo 13.
Nice. That's a solid.
Who-
That's a solid
Houston,
5 days of events.
We have
Adrian.
a problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the fascinating thing about Apollo 13 is that Jerry Griffin, who lives here in Kerrville, is on our board of trustees, and he was actually in the control room of Apollo 13.
There's a couple of those guys running around here.
There is.
There was a Ewell Clanton. He passed away, I think, 2 years ago now. He was when I worked at Inn of the Hills, fresh out of Shriner. He was in part of Hill Country Geoscientists and Hill Country Turners.
Okay.
And so he would. They were my groups, and he would always come and bring me a top that he had made from his wood turning stuff and teach me tricks, and then tell me because he helped design the tools the astronauts took to the moon.
Oh my!
And he was
gosh.
also in the control room
See,
when they heard all that stuff. And first of all, probably one of the smartest men I've ever met, and would talk to me like I knew what he was talking about.
Yes.
And I was like,
I sure.
but he was a lovely man,
He's-
and I still have all the little things he made me.
Oh, isn't that wonderful?
But there's a lot of them running around here.
There is, and you just want to hear.
You
their
never know when
stories.
you're going to meet them either.
No, you don't. And their stories are just incredible. So
Yeah.
to hear them when they talk. So
My favorite part of Apollo 13 is the part when they have to build the filter. And I got to take all of this, nothing but this, and make this,
Yeah.
and to make this fit into this.
Yeah. So Yule also he helped design and he helped train them on how to use them.
How to
and
use
to,
the
they'd have to
tools.
do
Right.
like simulation, like whatever they could at that time to simulate what that would be like, which is insane to
we
think
had
about.
Jeff Stone come and speak to us one time, and he was talking about that he was the person on the ground helping to figure out the parts to make a piece that was broken on the
Yeah. Isn't that insane?
Yeah.
It's very cool.
It's like we just got to figure out how to make it.
Yeah. And
Those
do
people,
it.
those men are
Yeah.
wired. Those men and women
They're
are
built
wired differently. They're
different.
built
Yeah.
differently.
They
To figure-
MacGyver things
They
together.
MacGyver things together. So
And then Monday's the big day.
Yep.
So Monday we have Jam Broadcasting that will be broadcasting from the front patio. We have games for folks. We've got parking, so we're selling parking that's not only for folks to come to our event, but for the city event. So we've been talking to a lot of folks from out of town, which is so wonderful to be able to chat with these people and kind of guide them
Yeah.
on, you know, the easy trail. The river trail's perfect to be able to park at the pavilion, and we'll guide people there, and you'll be able to just walk downtown. Enjoy
and don't
the event.
forget, we'll be charging $100 a game for pickleball.
Oh.
Oh.
Aiden didn't know that, but that's what
Oh yeah, Adrian didn't know that one.
that's what I'm charging. I'm gonna
You're camping out.
I'm camping out.
Calling it
$100.
your own.
$100.
You want to play for? You got 30 minutes to get a game.
I'm pretty
in.
sure Adrian's getting a cut of that.
Yeah. She's getting $39.50 out of the
She'll
deal.
break your
Going to
knees,
the Hill
man.
Country College Fund.
Right. Yeah.
But we have folks coming from all over Germany. We've got lots of folks from California. We've
Yes.
got Tennessee, Michigan, Minnesota.
My California friends are coming out.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're actually one of them's driving out to do this. So he wants to experience it. And here's the thing, folks. A lot of people are getting upset about the weather on this deal, and I'm just saying, look, even if it's rainy and cloudy, which there's a 50% chance that it might be.
There'll still be an eclipse.
Yes,
Still
it
gonna be
will
an
still
eclipse.
happen.
Like it's not like they're going to be like, oh, we're going to have to postpone it because there's rain. Nope. No, that doesn't really work that way. It's going to be at 127. It might be stormy out here, and it is going to get dark, and it's still going to be cool. You know, that's going to be the best part of the whole thing is like that 4.5 minutes of just darkness.
Yeah.
So, you know, and the other thing I think you got to be careful with is I was looking at this the National Weather Service stuff. It's like, well, yeah, there's a 58% chance of showers. Maybe it depends on your. A lot of people are using the iPhone app for that, which I find to be wildly inaccurate, especially like 10 days out.
Weather can still change.
Weather can still
yes.
change, and what we've seen lately, you know, we need the rain. Don't get
Yeah.
me wrong, we need the rain. But what I've seen lately is that we have days like this. Like it'll be cloudy in the morning, and it's supposed to be almost 90 degrees today. And that's how it's supposed to be all this week into next week. So highs in the upper 70s, maybe even in the 80s. Thunderstorms possible on Monday. We do have a chance of some severe weather today, as a matter of fact, but it might clear out of here and be sunny later on the day. So you know,
See, I think it's just making all the wildflowers beautiful for all the guests that are coming.
There you go.
absolutely. You know who love that is Janelle Peralt of JP
Yeah.
Properties. She's so excited about it because she's like, people want to move here. I'm like, no, Janelle, we don't want them to come here. We want them to leave.
We want to show everybody a good time.
We want to take the we the people approach. We want to be like Democrats. No, you can't move here. So, all right. What else do we know about going to Shriner?
So everything is going to be free and open to the
Yeah.
public. The only things would be the wine tasting. There'll be a charge for that and parking. But other than that, you can always email us at eventservices.edu at Shriner, and we can answer any questions for you.
And will Brandon be working extra?
Yes, Brandon, my team will probably be spending the night that weekend.
Oh,
so.
very good. We call him Brandon.
Brandon.
Yeah, Brandon. He's really strong.
Brandon's great.
He is great.
And this is something he's very good at.
Yeah, you can
This
put
type
like
of thing.
when you're moving chairs.
Not eclipse things, events.
Yeah. Brandon.
He's
can
good to
put
have though if you're having an
Yeah.
eclipse event.
Yes.
Yeah, he can put like 4 or 5. He can put like both arms can carry like 10 chairs each.
Yeah, exactly.
He's
And a
super
table.
buff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brandon.
Brandon.
All right, thank you, Adrian.
Thank
That's
you so
great,
much.
Great for having you come by, and so you're looking forward to Neil Young. In where's he gonna he's gonna play in Austin? When is he gonna play?
Neil Young and Crazy Horse are going to be touring, and they are playing in Austin on May 1st.
So
exciting.
do you get like a pass for him, or do you pay tickets to see that guy, or how do you deal with him?
No, we'll get passes.
We'll get passes. You'll say, hey, I want to go see you,
Yes.
and then he'll go. All right, that's cool.
Yeah, my mom's flying in, and so we'll be able to all
How
go
old
over
is
there.
Neil Young now? Is he like in his late 70s, early 80s?
Late 70s. He's not quite 80 yet.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing how these guys continue to play at this age. You know,
And rehearse, and it's hours and hours of
Yeah.
rehearsal.
Yeah.
And
It's
right?
hard on your body.
Yeah,
It is.
But you look at these guys like Mick Jagger looks actually better than he
Let's
did.
be honest. Mick Jagger's probably done enough drugs to keep himself preserved
He's
for a
pretty well-
long
he's-
time.
He's pickled. Is that
From
what
the
you're-
inside
Yeah.
out.
Yeah,
Is that what you're
he's
saying?
fine.
He's pickled.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. They're all pickled.
He's just like leather at this point.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's just interesting to watch. All right, so Neil Young in Austin coming up soon. All right, thank you, Adrian. Appreciate
Thank
it
you
very much.
so much.
All right.
Have a
Yes.
great rest of
Good
your
luck.
day,
You're going to
and
have a great week of events.
We are. It's going to be wonderful and showcase Shriner in a wonderful light. And
That's
so
right.
We're very excited, and we will see you on
I
the
thi-
flip side.
I think
Yes.
I think there's a lot.
You're
to,
also invited to my cathartic cry on Tuesday.
Oh,
Tuesday.
thank you.
You're
See,
welcome.
in one of the meetings, I said we're going to be crying not because it's so beautiful, but because it's
It's
over.
over.
It's over.
Yeah, that's my plan.
Thank the Lord.
April 9th.
April 9th.
Yeah. April 9th, by the way, return to city council meetings. Woo! I thought they could postpone that one for a day or two. All right, well, we let Adrian go. We're going to Leslie turn over to
Thank
Leslie
you.
Jones
All right.
to tell us about stuff and things.
You got it, man.
All right. Thank you, Adrian.
Well, happy April 1st. But we're in a whole new month, and we're on the countdown to April 8th because it's on its way. You got a week of cool stuff and things. Fiber and Jewelry Show going on at the Hill Country Arts Foundation all week. Go see it. Beautiful show. Let's see. Today at Riverside Nature Center, they're doing Here Comes the Birds. It's a family event.
Here come the birds.
They're going to have fun craft activities, bird scavenger hunt, and they're showing the Big Year movie at 3 p.m. with popcorn and punch.
The big
So
oh,
go-
that's the one where they go looking for critters.
Yeah, so go hang out with Riverside Nature
Yeah.
Center today. We love them. Of course, the exhibits at Kerr Arts and Cultural Center, you have the Kaleidoscope and Quilt exhibit still going strong there. Beautiful, beautiful
Yeah.
show. As well as the Artist Couple, which is Gary Lovelace and Melissa Muse. Their Total Eclipse art show is on full display. Go see that. It's a very cool and timely because there's a total eclipse coming. And a watercolor show for you to enjoy as well. As we get into it, of course, you've got Wild West Wine Wednesday at the Museum of Western Art on Wednesday, starting at 5:30. The Friends of the Library book sale will be 1 to 3 on Wednesday as well for a great price on books over at the library. And then Adrian already touched on some of it. They're kicking off on Thursday some of their solar eclipse activities that you can find all on Shriner University because they have a whole lineup for 5 days starting on Thursday. Let's see. Sprouts on Thursday as well, 10:30 to 11:30 for your pre-K and under kiddo. And this book, believe it or not, the book is about an eclipse. How
wow.
timely.
How timely.
So get your
How
kiddos
upsetting.
signed up. It'll be a really fun time. And it's a great way to get them excited for what's going to happen on April 8th. Arcadia Live back with their iconic film series on Thursday evening. Not an eclipse film that they're showing. They're showing 12 Angry Men. Still timely.
Still timely.
So that kicks off at 7. Get your tickets for that. That should be a good time. I'm sure Stacy and her crew will be on to talk about more what they're going to have going on because usually do like a themed cocktail.
Right.
So this sounds like it's going to be another one of those. Let's see. You've got a ton of eclipse events happening. I'm not going to go over all of them I'm just going to tell you where to find them, and that's on our website, www.kerrvillecrafted.com.
We will be updating them on our site
because
too.
there is a ton, and they all start Friday.
Right.
And we will be here all day. I think Lewis counted them, and as of yesterday, it was 119.
There's 56 alone.
That's just on Friday?
No, just for the clips.
Just for the
over the
okay.
over 4
yes,
days.
and there's probably more, but there's plenty. And here's the deal:
There's
it is
31
up to you if you would like to get out. If you're a local person, we're doing. There's going to be an influx of people start coming in probably that Friday, and if you like wanting to hug her down, fine. If not, there's going to be plenty of stuff for you to go do. Use your best discretion. And of course, common sense as we get closer to the day. But there's plenty of stuff going on for you to get out and enjoy this while you can, or if you want to. And a lot of this is free, which is even better. But like I said, Friday, there's already a ton of them happening a lot of live music, a lot of free live music. Even River's Edge Gallery down in downtown's getting on it. Kerr Clips kicks off this weekend. So they have a whole lineup of live music. Camerata is here, and they will be at First Presbyterian Church on Friday at 4 p.m. For their, they're doing Bold Brilliance for the San Antonio String Quartet. So that sounds it's going to be lovely. Texas Lion Camp kick off their big event over at the Hill Country Youth Event Center on Friday as well. And this is also like their anniversary party also. So you can get your tickets for that because they're going to have back-to-back like 3 days of live music over there at the Hill Country Youth Event Center. Brigadoon opening at the Calou Theater.
Have you watched Schmigadoon?
I haven't.
It's on Apple TV.
Okay.
I recommend it.
I just got offered 3 months free of Apple TV.
You should do it.
Okay. And what is it called? Smidgadoon?
Schmigadoon. It's with one of the guys from Key and Peele.
Okay.
Peele.
Okay.
No, Key.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about.
All right. You're really selling it.
Yeah.
They're doing their opening night dinner for Brigadoon at the Calou Theater starting at 6 p.m. And then opening weekend for that. A lot of live music happening as always. And then on Saturday, kick off the farmers markets. You have Hillside Harvest Market from 10 to 3. And that's at Carlson Law Firm at the Old Wells Fargo at 5 Points. And of course, Heart of the Hills over at River Hills Mall from 9 to 1. Even more Eclipse events getting down on Saturday. There's plenty. There's even an Eclipse Festival in Centerpoint kicking off on Saturday. Make your way down there. Go see our friends. As you should. It's happening. Right. So find all of this because, like, I'm just going through a ton of Eclipse events. You can find all of this on our website, kerrvillecrafted.com. Download our app, visit Kerrville TX in the Google Play App Store, or just subscribe to Lewis.
Yeah.
Hell, put it in your inbox. He counts it for you too. And then Maya tells you her top 5.
Yeah.
It's even better. But there's plenty. My favorite one is the Stonehenge Eclipse event because they're offering wedding packages where you can get married in Stonehenge.
Oh,
on April 8th.
I need to go find out if that's going to happen or not. So we got to.
Well, Sarah told me it was, and I've been telling everybody.
I hope someone shows up for it. So
I'm sure there are people that will still sign up for this. Apparently, this is happening like wherever is in the path of totality. It's a big deal.
Is anybody offering?
Oh, you have to turn you on. You have to turn you on there. Go ahead.
Is anybody offering the package where you get to sacrifice a chicken and a goat?
I'm sure
I
that
tried.
That's at Stonehenge.
That's not at Stonehenge.
After hours?
That is not at Stonehenge. I can assure you, Sarah is not signing off on that. That
sounds
like far west Kerr County activities.
No, it's not, you know what? You could do it at.
Or even far east.
Peterson Plaza. You could do it in the Sandy Callows parking lot. There
Sacrifice a chicken.
But then as we get to the day, obviously, the April 8th is the big day. So you've got Kerr Clips in full swing. You've got the Kerrville Eclipse Festival going on in Lewis Hayes Park also.
Yep.
You've got stuff at Ridge Marketplace. You've got all the usual places. It's happening. The Eclipse is here, and it's going to happen.
I do have a serious question, actually. I got an email this morning.
Are you saying my question is not serious? I'm offended.
I took your question very seriously.
I did too.
Thank you.
Is anybody offering that you know of prepaid parking, not like first come, first
Any
serve
of the
parking?
parking that we know about, we have listed on the
prepaid,
website. Well, some of it is, some of it isn't, but we would encourage you to contact. We put all their contact information. Contact them directly.
Okay, but
That's
y'all
a
have
hard.
it listed?
That is it. Yes, it's on. If you go to the
Okay.
parking, if you go to like I think it's viewing locations and parking, and it's on the KerrvilleTXEclipse.com. It's on the website. So the parking we know about that we've been given pertinent information is all listed there. Some of it you can pre-reserve, and it's kind of you can figure it out.
Okay.
But it is also, we're keeping up with that as best as we can.
By the way, also, if you are, if say you park in the parking lot of Texas Hill Country Advisors, which is South Sidney Baker South.
It's a shared parking lot.
It's a shared parking lot. I don't know what this has. That you won't be able to make a left-hand turn out of there. You'll have to make only a right-hand turn out, and then they will be shoving you somewhere far away. So if you're going to park somewhere, be aware of the outflow stuff. We just posted that this morning on the lead, so we'll get more of that information out there. There's a traffic plan that's out there. It's pretty intense.
We also have the traffic plan on the website. It's got its own page, and we have like a nice little widget that Charvy and KPD put together. That's there. We also have it downloadable, so you can have it printed out.
Yep.
And we have the county traffic map as well. And then there's a link to TxDOT. With all of their plans to see what they're doing.
I'll ask Jack to come back on again later this week to go over any changes they might have had with the plan.
Yeah.
So, with that, though, I got to say right now, today's show brought to you powered by Caliche Coffee, Hill Country Blend. Brewed, it's roasted right in.
It's lovely.
Apparently in the F word, Fredericksburg. 338 Main Street, CalicheCoffee.com. I'm drinking the Hill Country Blend this morning. What's going on over there, Andrew? They're interrupting my pitch here.
I'm trying to follow what Leslie just threw at me.
I'm just saying.
I'm
I'm a little slow this morning.
Are you listening? Caliche Coffee, Hill Country Blend. If you like your coffee with hints of chocolate, walnut, heavy body, this is for you. And you're enjoying it.
I do. I enjoy it.
I'm enjoying mine this morning here. We have them for sale here at the Plow. So if you want a bag of this, you come into my little facility here, and you pick up a copy or pick up this as well. Caliche Coffee. Also, don't forget a couple other things real quick here that we got to pitch. The Napa Auto Part thing is over for the month, but they are giving away those. They're going to do another promotion with those racing hats they have. So go over to Napa Auto Parts. Don't forget, all your Eclipse materials are available over there at the Gibson Discount Center. We'll have Doug here tomorrow. They have glasses. Oh, we forgot to show the Shriner glasses.
Yeah, Shriner. Adrian brought us these.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Let me wait. There,
Four. You got a whole stack of them over here.
Adrian brought us these snazzy little things.
We got to save them for Jack.
Yeah, we're gonna save one for Jack. He's collecting all. If you've got locally made, if it has Kerrville on it specifically, Jack Lamb is collecting.
He's collecting them. He wants them.
Public cry
that's a pretty slick one.
Yeah, this is nice.
I should have had those made for the lead, but I was too lazy. All right.
We'll just get you a welding helmet.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be perfect. All right, you guys are here. I got some questions for you guys. Are you ready for this?
Ready.
Now, I said earlier that when you say you're anti-growth, that growth is unsustainable, that you don't want out-of-town developers. To me, you sound like a California NIMBY. You sound like a Democrat to me. You sound like a Democrat. You don't want no. You sound like a. When you talk about environment, when you give sort of lip service to water quality, without really explaining why, you also sound like a liberal to me. I mean, how do you rectify? Is it just because they're all populists? These we the people folks, or is it? How would you describe it?
Well, I would say this, that the traditional Republican values have always been fiscal conservatism, right?
Yeah.
Managing money very well.
Right.
Small government, right? That's another big one.
Yep.
They were always pro-business, so anything that had to do with supporting businesses, they were all for. They were always pro-life.
Yeah.
That's a big one for Republicans, and so if you're not any of those four things, then in my mind you don't really fit the traditional Republican model, because I support all of those things. I support fiscal conservatism. I support pro-business. I'm a pro-life kind of person, and I'm always about pro-business.
Right.
And I can't forget the taxation, low taxes.
Right.
They typically support those things, and guess what? If you don't support those things, I would say you're on the other team, which is fine. I mean, you can support the other things, but if you don't support those main 5 core things, then I don't really think you're a real Republican.
Well, so the question is that if you support local business, right? So out of town business to me is that's a bizarre one because there are so many out of town businesses and interests here.
True.
I mean, you go up and down Sidney Baker and like think to yourself, like, how many of these are actually owned by out of town interests?
Lots of change, but I would say this too: who works there?
Yeah.
If it's not owned by a local person, guess what? That person employs local people. Mm-hmm. So you can complain all you want about chains and out of town ownership, but they're employing local people because there's no way in hell that people are driving here from out of town to work. If now maybe they're coming from Bandera, Center Point, Mountain Home, Ingram, something like that, but there's no way that somebody's going to work here from out of town for very long because of the drive.
Right. I mean, that's the thing that to me, it's that NIMBYism that we see. That's the populist move is the NIMBY. Oh, we're going to protect ourselves against these out of town people. Like, well, out of town investment is a fundamental part of how our economy thrives. Essentially,
you have enough people already complaining about all the nail salons and banks and chicken places. Mm-hmm. Well, okay, a lot of those places are owned by local people.
Yeah, I know, those are your neighbors.
Yeah. So guess what? If you don't want out-of-towners in Kerrville, about half the businesses in town would go away. And do you really want that? Right. No, because of the economic impact it would have on all their employees that live here and around here.
Right.
That's dumb.
Yeah,
Dumb.
But that's the populist political move right now.
It is.
So I mean, these are all bad. All these things are bad. They're unsustainable. And what's interesting about this too, what I find with these folks that's amazing. Someone asked me the other day. It was a question on social media. Where do you get your facts from? It's like
you make them up like everybody else does.
I do. I make them up. I sit through every single one of those meetings. I go through the documents. I listen to the people who know the facts. I still have people who are really, the Mega Creed thing has upset a lot of people for some reason, and I'm not really quite sure. But the thing that's amazing to me is that there are people here who you'll hear shucks, we're Texas is great, but why are we building these houses? Why are we building this deal? It's like, listen, folks. Here, at the end of the day, the legislature has created rules in Texas that are heavily in favor of developers and out-of-town interests. They are. I mean, I was talking to Mary Campana yesterday from Habitat for Humanity. Are you on that board? Who's on that board? Are you guys on that board? Mm-mm. Okay.
They're smart enough not to have me on there.
Yeah, right. But Habitat is interesting because they're building a workforce development, affordable housing, which will be in sort of the same price point as some of the Lennar projects, right? They took over an existing project, right, that had already been platted, which means that the lot sizes have already been set, and they weren't going to do any changes. They weren't asking any variances. They were asking for some help to do some of the infrastructure work, which is a significant amount of money. But, the neighbors didn't want it. They were really upset about it. They wanted it to stop. They didn't want the housing next to it, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, because they thought it was going to be, quote unquote, low income.
Right. Yeah, there was a lot of messaging around that was sort of questionable. But at the end of the day, though, there was a fundamental disconnect with those property owners about Texas property rights. Like, once it's platted like that, you got to build on it. Mm-hmm. You get to build on it. You don't get to stop it. There's no way to stop it. In fact, there is a deal. If it meets all the requirements, you have to approve it. It's automatically approved in 30 days. Mm-hmm. Like there's no stopping.
And that's the state legislature
that's
made
the
those
legislature.
rules. The counties and cities have very little ability to stop anything. The one that always makes me laugh is how people complain about what the city of Kerrville will allow to be here.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? The city of Kerrville has zero control over what decides to come here and what doesn't.
Why the hell would you allow Boot Barn to come here? We don't need that Boot Barn.
Exactly.
That's a California outfit. Get them out of here.
Or the nail salons is another good example. Well, guess what? Because somebody decided that they thought they could make some money doing that. Yeah. That's what.
Well, there's clearly sustaining.
Exactly.
Because they're still here.
Exactly. So, the city.
So
of
y'all are
Kerrville-
going to them.
Somebody is
right.
anyway.
That's why about the chicken places. It's like you're tired
Man,
of seeing
what
chicken
do you-
places, then stop eating chicken. That's
Yeah.
there's a fundamental disconnect, I think, for a lot of people that don't understand the difference between private businesses and private enterprises and the decisions that happen in that realm versus what municipalities have control of or don't have control
This is
over.
what I tried telling one of these mega opponents. They're like, they can't. Why did they approve that? I'm like, dude, you are in Texas, okay? I don't know what to tell you. I mean, they have rules that's how they want. This is how they believe that Texas is going to be great, is by allowing development to come in and to make it a business friendly state. Greg Abbott brags about this stuff. Megacrete, at the end of the day, was a Governor Greg Abbott approved project. He wanted that. That's why they held off announcing it, because he got involved with it at the very end and he made it happen. The rules basically Kerrville's only, opportunity here was to say, we'll give you this, we'll help you with this, but that's it. Right. And there is a lot of public-private partnership in a lot of these deals. Megacrete's going to invest $40 or $50 million off the bat, right here, and they're going to probably source a lot of materials from these guys, these aggregate facilities. But I'm always amazed, people get so mad at the city for this, but without realizing that, look, if they check all the boxes, you got to let them do it.
About the only leverage the city has is to step in there and say, well, listen, you've got to get permits and you've got to meet some of these other regulations. So the city can throw some roadblocks,
Right.
But the roadblocks are pretty small. And like in the case of Lennar initially wanted to build 700 homes in that development. 700
on 25-foot wide lots.
Yes, very, very small lots. And the city was able to say, hey, listen, can we at least negotiate a little bit of this?
Yeah.
And they were able to get it down to 500 lots.
Because they were asking for a variance, basically, and then the city said, no, we don't want that. And then Lennar came back with a project that was more aligned with where they could get it approved. And once that's through, it's through.
Yeah, Lennar's a for-profit business. They are going to squeeze every single dime that they can out of this project, whether that's reimbursements for infrastructure expense, like they did with didn't they set up a tiers?
A tax increment,
yes, tiers zone for
which
them.
Again is the way that works is it's in favor of the developer.
Sure.
The developer can request it and set up. Same with the annexation, right?
Yeah.
And
They don't have a choice.
Right.
The city doesn't have a choice.
No.
So the fact that the city was able to convince them to reduce the lots from 700 to 500 is a huge win. So the city doesn't have much of a choice except to play the game and do what they can to play nice with these people. Otherwise, Lennar can say, no, screw you. We're going to do this. And you like it, great. You don't, too bad.
Right.
And frankly, for the city, 700 homes would have been better than 500 because they could collect more in property taxes.
More property tax revenue, right?
But the city's saying, hey, listen, there's a balance between us collecting property taxes and the aesthetics and how that neighborhood's going to look over time.
Yeah.
So the fact that they were able to get them to compromise and go to 500 was a huge win. They should be applauded for that.
Yeah. Are you gonna take advantage of the new city's door-to-door things? You gonna send your intern out to knock on doors to get some business for you guys?
Only from 8 to 8.
We're gonna send Zach out. That's the way he's
That's
gonna.
right.
Zach is
So
not
he's gonna
scared
get
of
his
knocking on
hours.
doors.
I'm a former door-to-door salesman.
Are you really?
was,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna let him do.
What did you sell?
Pest control.
You do look like a pest control guy.
There's probably more to that story.
I'm not sure how I would take that, Zach.
No, you seem like a trustworthy
positive thing.
person I would buy
Okay,
pest
that's a
control
way
from.
better
Is that
way.
better?
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
You would
Between 8 to
buy
8, though. Reasonable business hours.
That's right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we're gonna send Zach out. He's gonna sell pest control services
From
and
9 to
financial
10,
advice.
9
I
to
love
10,
it.
10 p.m. Just break the law. Break the law.
He'll be less likely
It's a
among
package.
me and Andrew to get shot when he walks up
Did you
the
have
That
any
is
store.
100%
Did you have any
true.
successes with it? Did you have success with your door-to-door efforts?
It was okay. Not my favorite job, I got to tell you.
Yeah.
People don't like
Cold
you
calling in
knocking
any
on their door.
form is
Yeah.
awful. Yeah.
And it's like, what did Rachel say the other day when she was on the show about someone came knocking on the door and she was like, her husband said, yeah, we don't we don't make those decisions through the
At the
front door.
door.
And
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of people. They open the door, especially if you're knocking on the door, as long as it's not after 8 p.m., right?
Yeah.
First of
they
all,
come to the door with their
that
guard up.
I know,
mean,
and that roofing guy, I saw him because he was in my neighborhood too. He's on one of those little wheelie things, those little
Segway?
hoverboards, and because I was like, "What is happening?" And he would come up
floated
to
to
each
your
one.
door.
He skipped mine. I think because my landlord gave me a new roof, so I was like, "Don't come talk to me.
Don't
You see
talk to
this
me."
shiny penny up
Yeah,
here?
right.
Keep it moving, buddy."
So much fun talking about Kerrville. Andrew, you have to read your disclosure.
Yeah,
Read it now. So
it's already 10, man.
I need more coffee.
it's like, it's such a quiet day. It's weird. It's closed here. I don't know. I've been having dreams about the eclipse too. It's strange. Securities and investment advisory services
I'm
offered
okay,
through
thank
Next
you.
Financial Group, member FINRA SIPC, Texas Hill Country Advisors, not an affiliate of Next. This material is not intended as an offer, solicitation for the purchase or sale of any security or other financial instrument. Past performance does not guarantee future performance. All the views expressed are those of Andrew Gay, Gilbert Pies, and Texas Hill Country Advisors, not those of Next. The S&P 500 is a market cap weighted index composed of common stocks of 500 leading companies and leading industries of the U.S. economy. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is a price weighted index of 30 actively traded blue chip stocks.
Well done.
Thanks. Yeah,
How'd
so
you
like,
feel about Easter Fest?
I thought it was great. We had a really good time. We walked up and they were looking for some judges to judge their second round of judging, which was chicken. And so I roped Beth into that, and
Nice.
we had a blast.
Good.
And it turns out we happened to sit down at the finals table, so they weeded out like a lot of. So
Oh, so you only got
we
the good
only
stuff.
tried the top 20, which was
That's a lot
that's
of
a
chicken.
lot of chicken. We got a free lunch out of it, so it was good.
Was there some differences in the chicken?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Okay,
Some
I
were
was
like a
gonna
little
be
more
like, how-
dry, some were
Okay.
juicy, some were.
But even
some
like
had
the
more of a pop.
seasoning
Yeah.
and like, okay.
Like you get a little piece of the skin, on the outside, and some were a little more peppery.
Okay.
And there was one, and that's the other thing about judging is you don't really get to go back and figure out whose was whose, right?
Yeah.
But there was one. And I'm determined to figure out whose it was because once I tasted that one, I gave like 4 10s out over 20 different participants.
Oh, wow. You
But
kept
once I
high
tasted that one,
bar.
I was like, this was
is
the
the
only 10.
blueprint.
This is the
Yeah.
only 10. And then I wanted to go back and change my
Yeah.
other scores, but you can't do that. But
Lessons learned moving forward.
yeah, but it was a good time. It was a good time.
Very cool.
Easter Fest.
Yeah, I guess we had missed you, Lewis. We probably showed up closer to noon.
I
You'd
stayed
been there.
I watched the Rampaging Children. They were awesome.
And you got great pictures of the Corey Weaver band.
Yeah, it was so good. Corey Weaver. It's so funny because Harley Blue was
Well,
like,
that guy's like Corey Reaver's like built to
he's
perform.
so good, right?
Yeah, he's got the whole
And
like
he sings like these songs that are kind of, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure that they. Anyway, I don't want to get into it, but I like the fact that he was singing from Harley Blue, like Katrina and the Waves. And
he's very dynamic,
Oh,
and their
he's
song
incredibly
choice
dynamic.
is
Yeah.
great. Everybody that while we were sitting at the judging table, it's kind of like right there in front of it, and people were walking past us.
Yeah.
And there were kids and adults too that were like, they were grooving,
Yeah.
man. They were like
It is-
moving.
I'm saying right now, as far as a guy who can sing covers and originals in all sorts of ranges, he's number one. He really is. I mean, his vocal range is incredible. And
Yeah.
his entertaining.
Well, and you can tell
fun
he's
to watch.
having fun.
Oh, he has fun with it too. He's like he's not. It's not trouble to him at all. He just can get out there and sing.
And they have like the saxophone guy,
Yeah.
which was like
Right.
super cool, added a totally different feel and a different element to what they're doing. And then all of a sudden, like halfway through, he started playing like Tejano music, which was really cool.
Yeah.
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 He should have played that the whole time.
Yeah. So very dynamic.
All right.
But
Absolutely. What do you guys got going on? What's going on in the world of finance?
this week's a big week. We got the job market data coming out Wednesday, right? Unemployment rate for March, and then we get the number of payrolls that were added for the month of March as well. We get those on the same day before the market opens. Next week, we turn an eye towards CPI, which is the first metric of inflation. This is our first peek at March's inflation. That is going to be a really big deal because the last number that we got for February in the month of March was hot. It was hotter than anticipated. So investors, economists, and analysts are going to be watching for that because one data point doesn't make a trend. But if we get another hot inflation report that's kind of unexpected, I think there's going to be some extra worry that might kind of creep into markets. But I would expect more of the same narrative. The same. We're not in a hurry to hike from the Fed. From Jerome Powell and his peers. So that's kind of the latest there as far as what they got going on. None of that has really changed. They've just reiterated over and over again their commitment to keeping interest rates at a higher or what they call more restrictive level, like they're currently at, until inflation really gets closer to their 2% target.
Right. We're in this into the first quarter. By the way, in my first quarter, we had 186 guests in the first 58 shows.
Wow.
Of the year.
That's a testament to you overbooking yourself.
Absolutely. I mean, we're
like, how many people can I cram on this show?
How many people can I cram? We're way ahead of last year.
I know.
And what great activity for our community, man. That's a great testament for the activity within our local community.
Well, yeah, you look at the people. There's a lot of
for a 2-bit radio show. People sure do want to be on here.
Well, when you're
Hashtag.
a local blogger, you don't really have that big of a hold on people. So I mean, what did we do last year? This local blog got 132 guests in the first quarter of last year. So we're
yeah, you blew that out of the water.
We blew that out of the water.
Nice job, man. That's awesome.
I don't know if it's a good thing, but he's like, oh, we're gonna make this show 3 hours, all right?
Yeah. There's been some times this year. I haven't tracked the run times, but there's been some times this year when we've had some crazy stuff. Okay, we're in the end of the first quarter. Second quarter, we have the run up to the election. It's a big time in this next 3 months as we head into this. What is the outlook for you guys? What are you guys thinking about? What are the trends?
Go for that, Gilbert.
I think a couple things, of course, and it's usually the same stuff. It's what are oil prices going to do over the next few months, and of course, a couple weeks ago, gas prices were on the way back up again, but this week they seem to drop off. Zach pointed out that at the Circle K by the office, it's $2.99 a gallon. That's great. It's better than $3.19 it was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So oil price is a big deal. That affects gas, of course. The next thing, of course, is what is the outlook for inflation? Because if everybody in the market, the stock market anyway, is thinking the Feds are going to cut interest rates. They said they were. They even stuck to the idea that they're going to cut interest rates 3 times this year. At some point, they didn't say when, but at some point. And the longer we go this next quarter without them doing that, it seems less and less likely that they're going to do it this year. So inflation, of course, will have a big impact on what happens with interest rates and where they go. So I would put those two in the same category. And then, of course, geopolitical issues. We're still having, obviously, problems all over the world, which is not unusual. We're always having international or global political problems, war and famine and death and destruction and political stuff going on all over the place. And not just in Europe or the Middle East, but in South America. There's still a crazy situation there that is driving migration to the U.S.
Yeah.
And then of course, we've got that all important political election in our country. There's a lot of political division, and it could get worse. The 2 candidates that are out there right now on either side, I think everybody can agree that neither one of them is a really good choice, but it's the choice we've got. And so, depending on how that looks over the next few months, there's probably going to be an official nomination coming up for both of them. There's going to be talk about a debate, of course. There's just going to be a big run up to the actual election going into the third quarter. So those 4 things are probably the biggest issues. But I would submit to you that over the long term, all 4 of those things are just blips, and they're going to capture headlines in the short term, but over the long term, they really don't mean a lot. Because we're always going to have issues with oil prices. We're always going to have geopolitical problems. We're always going to have some kind of an election cycle in our country. Of course, every 4 years, a presidential election. We're always going to have questions about inflation, interest rates, deflation, growing economy, slowing economy, what have you. So all of those things are constant. It's just that right now they're going to grab a lot of the headlines, but over the long term, they don't really amount to much. I think people need to focus on what's really important, and that's the long term. And in the long term, those 4 things are just they're blips on the radar. The longer the term, the longer term you look out, the more likely you'll see that they really don't matter. What matters is what's going on in our individual personal lives, and that's the tricky thing to manage, because you really can't control those four things that we just talked about. Really, the only thing you can control is the stuff within 5 feet of you, and so most of us are going to continue doing what we're doing: get up in the morning, go to work, pay our bills, have interpersonal relationships with everybody else around us. And I would say too that if we all started thinking about how can I improve the world that I live in immediately, not internationally or nationally, but how can I improve the place that I live, then I think that makes probably the bigger difference for all of us over the time.
By the way, here's a headline for you. You ready for this headline?
Yes.
Cicadas are nature's weirdos. They pee stronger than us, and an STT can turn them into zombies.
An STD.
STD.
Okay,
Not to
I thought
mention-
you said STT, and I was like, I don't know what that is.
Sexually transmitted transmission.
Don't want that either.
They also have the weird like hibernation emerging cycle
different
things.
ones that come up
Right.
every so many years
Yep.
from the ground.
Right.
For me,
Broods.
that's just the sound of summer.
That's the most interesting thing I've learned, that cicadas can become zombies from an STD.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
I know. Isn't that right?
I feel so
Did you already know
informed
that?
now.
Was
Pest
that from the
control guy?
Inquirer?
No.
Wow, we both learned
I'm
something
not-
today.
I'm not touching up on my game. This is outdoing me.
I know.
But that's a selling point for the pest control business. Hey,
Yeah.
we can prevent.
You don't want zombie cicadas.
You don't want
Yeah.
zombie.
from giving you an STD.
You don't want sexually active cicadas, zombie cicadas.
How do they get the STD? Do you know?
I don't know. Probably from koalas. I don't know. Koalas.
That doesn't make any sense here.
I don't know.
I need
I'm just
more.
saying.
I have questions.
And if they hibernate like underground and in
Pop
dirt
up.
for like 17 years, I can't imagine
And then
that
if
they're that
scientists were
active.
like, let's just see what happens if
And
we
then
put an STD in this, that's kind of
Right.
playing God in a weird way.
Well, they might have. We have naturally occurring STDs, so maybe there's something.
Okay, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
What's a naturally occurring STD that a
Gonorrhea?
cicada would get? How would a cicada get that?
The cicada syphilis.
I'm trying to just figure out how it gets introduced to the
Cicada
cicadas.
syphilis.
Yeah. Right.
That's all.
Cicada is an interesting word because in English it's cicada, right?
Yeah.
But in Spanish we call them chichadas.
Really?
And, yes.
That's
and
way more fun.
so
That
whenever
is fun.
whenever I see the word cicada, I always think, oh, chichada. And then I want to say that.
You should. Bring it back.
Bring it back.
Chichada, yeah, chichadas. Yeah, they're loud as hell too.
They
Make a lot
are.
of noise.
By the way, when an AP NORC Center for Public Affairs Research found this is a poll that 4 in 10 Americans say when immigrants come to the U.S. legally, it's a major benefit for American companies to get that expertise of skilled workers in fields like science and technology. A similar share said that illegal immigrants contribute a major benefit by enriching American culture and values. So there you go. And they recognize that illegal immigration has a benefit, but they don't like it.
There was an interesting article in the Wall Street Journal this past weekend, one day last week actually, I forget what day, but it talked about how a lot of people that come to this country, legally or otherwise, how a lot of them are pushed or kind of don't have much of a choice but to start their own business.
Yeah.
And it talked about the number of new businesses that are being started by these new immigrants. Like I said, whether it's illegal or otherwise, they end up wanting to say, "Hey, listen, what can I do that would help me get ahead in this country? Because now I can do that. I'm in a place where you either sink or swim." Mm-hmm. And a lot of these people, they number one, they're used to working hard. Hell, they crossed countries and continents to get here in some cases. What can I do? And so they start these businesses, and a lot of them start small. They sell stuff from their house. Mm-hmm. They buy a food truck, and they start selling food that's reminds them of their homeland, and they find other people like them that are from their country, and they start selling them food. And then they open a restaurant, and then before you know it, they employ a bunch of people.
Well, they create a community.
Yes, they create a community. And a lot of these people, and we're not talking about just Central Americans or South Americans or Mexicans. We're talking about Asians and Middle Easterners and even Europeans that come here and they say, you know what? This is what we're missing.
Yeah.
And they provide a service that nobody else is providing. And they start a business, and a lot of these people become successful. There's plenty of people in our own backyard that have done the same thing.
Right.
They started with nothing, but they had this desire to move up in the world and do something better. And frankly, they did it out of necessity. They were trying to eat.
Right.
And that's a hell of a motivating motivator. So, they build these businesses, and it talked about the number of people, immigrants that are starting businesses, and not just restaurants, but doctors and lawyers and engineers and people that take the expertise they had in their home countries that sometimes is transferable, sometimes it isn't, but they start these businesses and they're just growing like gangbusters.
And here's an interesting stat. This is why this is problematic. This is a New York Times headline. This is why this is a problem for Joe Biden, and it is a problem for Joe Biden. And I think it's the messaging of Trump has been successful on this. In 2017, 71% of Democrats saw that there was a major benefit for immigrants coming to the U.S. legally. 24% then said it was a minor benefit, and 4% said that there was no benefit at all. This is Democrats. That's jumped up to 17% this year. Don't believe there's any benefit at all for these people coming in. 30% said it's a minor benefit. 52% said it's a major benefit. But among Republicans, right, that number of no benefit at all has gone from 10% to 36%. So 36% of Republicans believe now there's no benefit at all to any immigration coming in and being successful or helping out in areas like science and technology.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy.
I've said it before. This country needs immigrants. If we look,
this country's built on them.
Yes, and if you look at the demographics of our country, our birth rate is very low or declining for the domestic U.S. population that's been here.
Right.
But when you throw in immigrants, all of a sudden our birth rates start to go up, and our country needs that. We need a positive birth rate to replace all the people that die. Now, does that change the demographics of your country over time?
I think that's what I was going to be like. That's what the concern is.
Of course,
for those people.
Those people are going to, and brownies like me are going to end up being a bigger majority. We already are in this part of the world.
Right.
But that's okay if we take these immigrants that come here and say, listen, if you miss your country and you want this country to be like your country, that ain't happening.
No.
Go back to there where you came from and you'll be fine. You can have what you want. But if you want to come to this country and be a productive member of this society, learn the language, which the language of our country, for better or for worse, is English. There's nothing wrong. My father used to always tell us, celebrate who you are and where you come from.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You look at how this part of the world, everybody loves enchiladas and Mexican food and piñatas and cascarones and chicharas and all kinds of stuff like that. That's great.
Wait a minute. You eat chicharas?
No, you don't eat them.
Fry them up a little
I was
bit
just saying the
on
word.
I mean, it's up to you. Not ones with STDs.
You were grouping together with Mexican food. I was getting kind of excited.
That would probably be interesting. But celebrate that. But you know what? You live in this country, and this country is the traditions and the primary culture of this country is white Anglo-Saxon Protestant.
Yeah.
You can't do anything about the white part because you're brown. But you can't really do anything about the Anglo part. You can't do anything about the Anglo-Saxon part. You can't do anything about the Protestant part, but you can at least adopt a lot of the prevailing norms of this country, which is hard work, contributing to society, being a positive member of the community, learn the language, and make this whole country a better place.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
Or what we need to do is put the immigration policy into Leslie's hands, and when someone comes into the door,
I was nice.
you were nice, but you got up and you were like, Hey.
Well, I noticed no one else was doing it, so I figured it had to be me.
I was just getting ready to see if we turn around, look like we're closed. Get out.
Beat it.
Beat it.
And there's nothing wrong with knowing who the heck people are coming into this country.
Right.
And unfortunately, you're going to have a probably a significant number of people that come over here who are looking to do bad things.
There are already people in this country looking to do bad things.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
So, that's no different than any other culture. You're going to have a percentage of them that are lazy as hell and just looking for government handouts. But net, I think over time, these people, immigrants, are motivated to do something better.
Right.
And they can only make this country better.
Well, and the odds are already stacked against them.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
Connie Fontaine Jenner is a good example of those people who are plotting stuff, against us. And, and she's from here, so there you go.
yeah, our own little homegrown local terrorist.
I know. She says to Andrew that Gilbert that she moved her entire portfolio to Truth Social, which was trading
It's,
it.
it's
no
performing
comment.
gangbusters.
No comment.
No comment.
Right. All right. Final thoughts for the day. Leslie Jones, go.
Cicadas turn into zombies when they get an STD that we still don't know how it was introduced to them.
Andrew
But that
Day.
is what I learned.
What your final thought for the day?
It's quiet today. I'm glad that we all had a good weekend, Easter weekend, and I'm looking forward to this upcoming weekend. Fingers crossed for clear skies. We'll see.
Zach, the intern, final thought for the day.
Look for changes in your current community,
All
not
right.
in the international world.
What a
And
good
chocolate prices are
intern.
still rising. Watch out.
Gilbert, your final thoughts.
He listens. It's crazy.
My final thought is eclipse. I didn't know we were having eclipse.
What?
Hey, if there is bad weather, I'm fully going off the deep end.
I know.
I'm going to start maniacally laughing. And because guess what? I already know that there's a ton of phone calls coming in right now about weather.
Yeah.
And they're going to blame the city, I'm sure, for
listen,
bad weather.
Army, listen, the amount of things the CVB has taken, like, why isn't there enough public transportation? Why isn't there this? I'm like, literally not my
We're
job.
suspicious of it. Yeah.
But yeah, if you can get yelled at, not yelled at, if you can be chastised for it, we've heard it. So, and it's not just about the city; it's for the whole area.
It's the whole area.
So,
I'm sure.
but yeah, it's gonna happen.
It's going to be what it's going to be. We
That's
just
right,
have to
and we're gonna get
hopefully-
through it, and
Yeah.
we're gonna deal with it with patience and grace and common sense.
Right. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us here on a Monday. Tomorrow, we have a big show. Tomorrow, Julie Davis may be here. We never know because she's really busy and important.
She's got a lot going on.
It's a big week for y'all.
Yeah,
But
this
if
is
she-
like I basically this weekend I hunkered down, didn't do anything to prepare myself for this week and
Yeah.
the next basically coming 7 days.
Just
like
climax.
I'm yeah,
It's the climax.
I had to have a moment to be like, yeah, this is like our D-Day.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to pray
So.
for you guys because I know y'all
Yeah.
going to be crazy busy.
Yeah, you are.
Honestly, everyone that's hands on the ground for this stuff, every city employee is working for the
12
event
hours.
that's happening
Yeah.
on their event. Everyone that's hosting one, including in Ingram at the Hill Country Arts Foundation, over at the Hill Country Youth Event Center, out at Quiet Valley Ranch. All of everybody in public safety, all of us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Truly, just be nice. That's all we ask.
Stop being jerks. Let me give you a couple things for tomorrow. Janelle Perrott will be here tomorrow. Doug from Gibson's will be here tomorrow. We're going to have a great call with Jessica Huseman, who is the editorial director for Vote Beat. She's going to talk to us a little bit about what they're doing in Gillespie County. They're going to recount the Gillespie County GOP votes. And they're going to see how many. There's been this whole hand counting thing is fascinating because I'm telling you right now, there is some insidious stuff that could happen with hand counting. She's going to help us kind of understand some of this. They're going to recount it because you know what you don't have to do when you have a hand count? You don't have to have an audit.
What?
Yep. Right?
That almost seems by design.
Yeah. You don't need to have an audit, and they found mistakes. Now, did they change the votes? Not necessarily, but what happens when they do change the votes? You know, they found plenty of mistakes in these, human errors introduced into this thing, and it's like, look, folks, we're not stupid. We know that when we go to the grocery store, we're trusting that HEB is going to get it right. And if they don't get it right, they're going to fix it or get themselves in trouble in a hurry. We have to have that same mentality with our elections process. Like, we need to hold them accountable, but we don't need this ridiculous hand counting thing. So, all right, everybody, have a great rest of your day. We'll see you guys again tomorrow. Have a good day. Enjoy it. It's going to be like 90 today. It's weird.
No holding back, no stepping stones, no broken promises, no busy tones. Just what it takes, just make believe. No one